Well, here's a fun thing to do on a special day. Go to the bookstore. Yes. Life with an intellectual. I don't often consciously think of myself that way, but that's the reality, isn't it? Let's see if there's anything I might want to buy for Christmas gifts here.
Hi, would you like a sample?
Oh, what do you got there?
It's gonna be the peppermint mocha from the cafe.
Is it gluten-free?
I actually don't know that. It does have caffeine in it.
I might try a few sips. All right. Oh, caffeine. That's how you get rid of it, huh? Thanks. All right. What do you think? I made him laugh, didn't I? Or the guy. Shall we try it? Well, it's hot. Yes, it has a peppermint taste. Not bad. Ah, that looks interesting here. That's just the kind of book that suits my fancy. Now I got this other thing here. What should I do? I'll put it down. What do we have here? Shall we look at the blurb? An affectionate, engaging history of the American bookstore. Wow. How about that? Let's look at the table of contents. Let's see what we got here. What are these like, what do they call this when you interview a bunch of people and kind of throw them together?
Check it on my library. I got all the books.
Well, that's funny. That's pretty meta right there, because that's where we're at. See that word there? There's no E after the G, is there? Because that's the American spelling. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you learn. Is what you learn when you get a bachelor's degree and you take a upper division writing course. There's only
Like my sister works at Target, so every time I know
how
what
many
Target
E's?
has.
Acknowledgement. The one with the extra E is British. Wow, definitely an intriguing book. Shall we get back to our peppermint? How about these oversized books, huh? What do we have here? Whales, the West, ocean habitats, lots of biology here. Whoa, San Francisco. That looks pretty interesting. What on earth? That's a mammoth book. Shall we take a look? Oh my God, it's heavy. Ooh. Here, let's move some of these. Good grief. That looks like a German publisher. Wow. Uh-huh. Late 40s, maybe? Oh, they all have to have this obligatory photo of the hilly streets and a cable car. Oh, is this a trilingual book? Oh my God. Is that why this thing is so heavy? Let's look at this here. Marching to a different beat, page 136. Im Takt der Beatniks. Takt. Takt, that's, what is that, the word for pace in German? We're testing the outer limits of my German here. Let's take a look. Takt makes me think of sailing ships zigzagging along. Maybe I have no idea what the word means. Here we go. Civilians and returning military personnel were eager to resume peacetime life in San Francisco after World War II finally ended in September 1945. All right. Let's try the German version. Well, here's the heart of the matter here. The beat movement gave rise to the beat generation. Oh, well. On the road. You know, some of that's fun, interesting stuff, but you wonder sometimes if some of it was overblown. I once talked to a lady who seems to have an inside line, and she told me that a lot of stuff written about it was just made up in some of the works. Yeah, there it is. Nach dem Ende des Zweiten Weltkrieges, so that's after the end of the Second World War, freuten sich Zivilisten und heimkehrende Soldaten drauf. So, civilians and returning soldiers were happy, they were glad about the end of the war. Ihren Alltag in Friedenszeiten wieder aufzunehmen. Oh, this is what they were happy about. To resume their daily life. Let's see. In North Beach schlug eine neue Counterculture Wurzeln. So, in the North Beach neighborhood, a new counterculture. That's just a noun there, isn't it? Yeah. Wurzeln, so it took root. The counterculture took root.
I mean, I get stopped, like.
From poets Lawrence Ferlinghetti, who I sent a letter to, and he answered. 1953 mitbegründet. Oh, you know what? Counterculture. Okay, yeah. He always said he wasn't actually a beat writer, but okay, they're not calling him that, are they? Wurde die Buchhandlung City Lights Book zum Epizentrum einer neuen literarischen Bewegung. Well, die Antikonformität zu ihrem Markenseitenmark. Well, okay, so they're saying that this sounds a little apocryphal. The City Lights bookstore, Buchhandlung, so does that include publishing? I don't know. Became like the center of this new literary movement of anti-conformity. Well, and Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac came from New York. And, On the Road, that wasn't written in California. So, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions. On the Road was written several years earlier than it was published. But people kind of associate it with 1957. But it was written, several years before that. And let me see, City Lights Books. When was that opened? Something like was it 55? Am I getting my chronology right? Maybe a couple years before that. Wow, this would be a great book to practice German with, I'll tell you that. Whew. Wow. How much is this sucker? Oops, I'm making a mess. Oh, wow. $70. Crazy. It's so heavy you can barely hold this thing in your lap. It's like a lifetime pursuit here. Put this on your coffee table and read it for like the next 20 years. Good gracious, this thing's just sitting right on the edge here. No wonder. What else catches our eye here? Nothing catching my eye yet. Black women. The thing that's misunderstood about black women is, being a double minority, they get a lot of insights from that life experience.
How was the sample?
Great.
It was good.
Are there people like drinking like 2 or 3?
No, I had someone I think take 2. They said it was for someone.
I won't leave it here. I'm going to finish it.
I'll say if you want, make the same thing down at the cafe, just a little bigger. You can change the milk and everything.
Oh, that's right. I can buy one. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Wow, what a flirt. That certainly is a way to get customers. Oh, that looks interesting. What on earth is let's see. They're really gonna write a book about, they didn't make it into space. What's this all about? Oh, I see here. This has a much longer timeline. No? Yeah, they're talking about the shuttle era here. Fire. Little history lesson there. Oh yeah, what was that African American astronaut that died? There's a scholarship in his name. Nothing really catches my eye here. Whoa, what is this? How could this not catch your eye? Well, it's all about fashion. Oh my God. I'm not sure how obsessed Taylor is about fashion. She has other people take care of all this for her. Isn't that spectacular? Just amazing. She is first and foremost a writer. All this is about fashion? My goodness. Oh my God. Our young girls need role models, don't they? Let's take a look at the text. Anything ruffled, pastel, or both made an appearance in her wardrobe. Now that's getting pretty detailed. Temporarily dip-dyed hair tips. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Temporarily dip-dyed hair tips were a playful way she immersed herself in the vibrancy of the era's style. But truthfully, it felt like throwing neon paint on Reputation's gothic window dressing. Here we go, and getting into writing. Good writing. Inverting that album's harsh exterior and soft center. Wow. That's kind of interesting.
Take care.
Let's see here. What are all these premium members? These are the recommendations of the staff here. Shall we take a look? Out of curiosity. Poetry everlasting. Said during the Great Depression. A girl and a bear? The Heart in Winter. Romantic. Probably not a book I'd read. Long Island Compromise, a novel. An exhilarating novel. The Wood at Midwinter. Illustrated short story. That is intriguing. The Prospectors. Rags to riches story. What's all this? James. Action packed. Somebody's been reading the New York Times book review.
Different actress.
Oh, reimagining of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. That's interesting, yeah. See, now this is one of the advantages of being a bachelor. I can just take all the time I want and just drift around as the mood strikes me. A legendary mythical villain. What's all that about? Swan song. How do you like that handwriting? Distinctive, isn't it? I hate to say it, but it very much reminds me of my ex-girlfriend's handwriting. That's the same person, isn't it? Well, I don't hate to say it. This is a special day. Crime novel. The God of the Woods. I don't think I'd read that one. Coco. Oh boy. I dated a girl named Coco for a while. Actually, she took on that name after I dated her. That nickname. You recognize that handwriting? That's a distinctive. There's a staff person with distinctive handwriting. You are here. By any other name. Sweeping tale of ambition. Okay, that's our New York Times book review reader. How often do we actually look at what the staff people write? So this is kind of a fun exercise here, isn't it? A Paris gallery owner finds herself in trouble when a mysterious man begins leaving her messages. Danielle Steele, famous name. Looks mildly interesting. Well, let's take a look at the first chapter. How do these prolific writers do what they do? Let's see here. Even at 18 in 1937. Okay, we're giving a context here. Has this author ever been to Germany? That's my first question. to do research. It would be so easy just to write a novel on what people think is common knowledge about Germany in those times. I was just reading the other day, there was a lady that created like this lost, what was it? Kind of like kind of like a memoir, I think, and it was kind of lost for decades and found in Italy. Wow, my God, look at all these staff recommendations. Let's see what stands out. Biography's fun, isn't it? What catches my eye? Edgar Allan Poe. The Death and Life of Edgar Allan Poe. What a character that guy was. Who created the crime novel genre? Can you imagine creating a genre like that? Well, what else catches my attention here? Oh my God, Sylvia Plath. So much focus and so much written about such a short life. It's amazing how much she accomplished in her short life. Shall we take a look? Look at that. Good grief. Shall we look at the table of contents? Now, there was somebody on my friends list on Facebook who had someone on their friends list by the last name of Plath and was some kind of cousin of Sylvia Plath. Can you imagine? And I told my friend and she didn't know. What's special about Sylvia Plath? Well, it's that confessional style writing, I guess. Gosh, how much can they uncover? Amazing, isn't it? The only thing I raise an eyebrow at is she was an aspiring professional writer. And to me, that kind of injects a meta layer. I guess makes it more complicated. What about the life of somebody who never intended to really become a writer, but had a intensive life and then started writing about it? Okay. I mean, not to belittle Sylvia Plath, not to take away, but I wouldn't do that. Goes on and on and on and on and on. Tens of thousands of books. New and noteworthy. Artificial intelligence. Bill Clinton, no thank you. What does this say here? Much of our current mess is due to the Bill and Hillary Clinton tacking to the center and ignoring the base of the Democratic Party. That's why the recent election turned out the way it did. That was, I assume that was Hillary's supposedly brilliant strategy. Look where it's got us now. Boris Johnson. Oh, give me a break, man. You gotta be kidding. Get that guy off the world stage. What a blowhard. More novels. Wow. Just seems like a plethora this time. It looks like they've expanded all these new novels section. This U.S. history. Everybody's interested in Abe Lincoln. Eminently readable. What's this all about? Beginnings, oh. How many thousands and thousands of books have been written about Abraham Lincoln? It's mind-boggling to contemplate. Just on this shelf here alone, how many are there? Okay. It just breaks your heart to think about that whole conflict between the settlers and the Native Americans. And how they once lived on the land where I was born and grew up, and where by treaty had to leave their homeland. Oh, here, music. What's this now? Oh, Mal Evans. I've seen this. I'm pretty sure the author's on my Facebook friends list. True stories behind the songs. Do you know, by the way, the background of this? It's amazing to contemplate Mal Evans, who's the roadie for the Beatles, had like very detailed journals and things that he kept, a diary, and it was almost lost. It was discovered in storage by this employee of some publisher who was assigned the task of kind of cleaning out a storage area. And it was her insistence that led to the saving of all of his archive. Her boss or upper, higher ups were just thinking about throwing stuff away. Isn't that scandalous? We would have lost so much history. Build good habits. Oh yeah, one of my classmates in school early on, like second or third grade, is telling everyone that you have to do something 22 times before you make a new habit. World history, business, self-transformation. Social sciences. Oh, look at all these. I'm starting to think that the staff people have not read all these. What catches my eye? Brief history of humankind. Something tells me that that guy doesn't know a book was written about him. The power of the internet. Renegades. Obama a renegade? I'm not so sure. He lost me when he started killing people with drones. I'm sorry. That's when I lost my respect. Politics with Adrian, huh? The Odyssey. Some scholars think this work kind of evolved with like multiple people in an oral fashion over generations, with multiple storytellers involved in shaping the story. I need to read more about that. Well, here we go again. Wow. Ted Hughes? Wasn't that her husband? It causes me to raise an eyebrow. Science fiction, thrillers. I'm getting the complete tour today. Romance.
Oh, because they're actually at the hospital. They're going to stay.
Science. What do we got here? UFOs? You gotta be kidding. Does this belong in the science section? I like Neil, but I do not like the way he... Was he this guy who spearheaded Pluto being removed as a planet? He shouldn't be well known for a negative like that. He needs to be well known for like a big positive. So let's try to think of his big positive. Here's an author I met, Oliver Sacks. I just sat down at a table in the cafeteria at Gallaudet. He was sitting with my advisor, my linguistics advisor, and the what do you call it? The typical behavior there in the cafeteria is you don't really have to ask to sit down. You just sit down next to somebody, and that's considered, normal at the time in that cafeteria at Gallaudet. So that's what I did. I just sat down. And my advisor didn't seem to mind. I had no idea who he was, and I don't think he was famous at the time either. I said, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm a neurologist." I'm a neurologist. Entertainment. Oh, so the science only gets 3 shelves. And then everything else is entertainment. Music, okay. What does that say about science now? I wish this science section was bigger. Music. Ira Gershwin, okay. A lyricist. Can you imagine being a lyricist by profession? I did not know that. He won the Pulitzer Prize? That we make too big a deal out of all those prizes. We're gonna let like a small subset of a subset of a subset of a subset decide what's good in the world? The small group of people who award the Pulitzer Prizes? I don't think that's a great idea.
Look how fat they are. No, I still like hardbooks. I haven't yet. I'm not true believer. You haven't gone to the other side, not yet.
Toys, Legos.
But I bought books that
Oh, stuff for kids. Look at all these Legos. Wow. Oh my God, an entire wall.
it's like a dystopian kind of thing where they have like
Whew, just imagine if they had this sort of section of a store when we were kids. Oh my gosh. Of a bookstore, no less.
Yeah. It's Nosferatu means the undead.
Right.
But his actual given name is Count Orlok.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Pop culture games.
See, it says Nosferatu, but out here it says Count Orlok.
Man, this is stuff I never heard of.
And on the back of this one,
A Dune Monopoly?
Universal,
What's this all about here?
and then all those are the other ones to collect.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, here's a bunch of stuff on sale.
There's Wallace.
The reason it's on sale is because people don't want to buy it. Is that it?
That Edna one looks cool from what's their name? Incredibles right there.
A pyramid Rubik's Cube?
Right, yeah.
That's a new one to me. Touring machine, what could that possibly be? The punch card computer. What? That's intriguing, isn't it?
Which was in turn derived from the Italianization of the Libyan Arabic name for
Find the secret code using a mechanical computer that works with punch cards alone. Wow, now that is darn. This is a game. Wow, what age group? I would have had fun with this. It doesn't say how much. $39. Scrabble Spanish, Scrabble Deluxe.
Okay.
The best Scrabble game to get is with a rotating, where you can rotate it around. Music. Can you imagine the Beatles still selling all these years later? The White Album, $31.99. Sgt. Pepper, $19.99. Let It Be. This is a compilation that came out like in the 70s. There's a red and a blue. Man, the price stays high. Even this early album. Beatles for sale. There's that famous shot in the, is that in the EMI office looking up the staircase? There's the blue album. Sheryl Crow, remember that song? All I wanna do is have some fun. Catchy, catchy. Also, Chicago is going strong. Wow. Movies. Now, my DVD player's not hooked up. I've hardly haven't had a hankering to use it. Oh, what a reminder. Something my former girlfriend gave me once. That's what I wasn't expecting today, on today of all days. So remember that. That's why I have a hard time buying a new one. I'm still sticking with that one she gave me. Taylor's albums. I would have never predicted that albums would make a comeback. This is a good one, especially the number 2, the Tortured. What's the name of that song? Tortured Poets? It's a good one. Catchy lyrics in there, creative. Well, have we tired ourselves out? The only thing I haven't really looked at is the discount section. And here it is.
Hey.
Is it? Maybe not. Stop overthinking. So what do? They write a book about it. That kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Well, shall we just kind of sit down in the cafe for a few minutes? And contemplate the, what do we got here? Word search puzzles. Oh, someone I know likes to have those for gifts. This could be my first Christmas gift. Here, let's see. Oh wait, it's crossword, not word search. Here's some crossword. You know who you are. If you're watching this video, you better put it down right now. Click off. Unless you want to watch me buying your Christmas present. Let's see here. Crossword puzzles. Good grief, is that a hardback book? Nothing really jumps out at me. How does a book of crossword puzzles grab your attention? Over 600. Oh, those are small. I must admit, I'm not a skilled purchaser of crossword books. We might have to pass on these. I'm not really attracted to any of these in particular. Van Gogh.
I have a list of liners of Christmas stuff. Yeah, he was really,
Can you imagine that
yeah.
super centenarian, Jean Calumet, saying she met Vincent van Gogh? And yes, I'm not convinced that she was actually that age. I'm kind of a skeptic on that.
It occurred to me that we haven't ever been soccer tournaments.
One of the Bronte sisters.
That's the biggest thing.
Haven't gotten very far in that novel. Is it a dark one? Ah, here's a fun. Oh, this looks like a fun gift.
Yeah, put over and see that.
You must feel some.
I got that spec. Now it's like probably just
How much is it? $17.99. Wow. Let's think about that. Let's ponder that. Oh boy, I haven't sent out Christmas cards in a couple of years. Something I've been meaning to do. Well, we've kind of exhausted ourselves, haven't we? Calendars. A's baseball. Oh, how sad. There's not going to be any more Oakland A's. Yet they're moving closer to me for a while. I should probably go to a few games in Sacramento. Well, why don't we just park ourselves in the cafe for a few minutes just to rest. More Taylor Swift. By golly. The New York Review of Books. $10. Well, I can get a lot of that sort of thing online. Oh, that doesn't go in there. Why don't we just kind of leave it out here where it doesn't belong? Technology. Might be some crosswords over here. LA Times crosswords. I'm sorry, I just don't want to support the LA Times. I'm pretty soured about it. What's this all about? Oh, looks pretty interesting. Is it in our price range? Maybe I'll buy this. My first Christmas gift. I'm sorry, I really doubt that the person this is intended for is watching this. But if you're watching and you know who it is, don't tell her, okay? Oh boy, philosophy right by the cafe. A Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Would you believe I read that whole thing when I was about 28 years old? It was okay, I liked it. Get you thinking philosophically. Beyond Good and Evil. Can you believe people are still talking about Nietzsche? You know, over 100 years later? I'm gonna turn this off, but it's been fun having you friends along. Hope you enjoyed our little tour.